Welcome to the James Rice Show, a humorous, entertaining, and sometimes thought-provoking look at teaching and studying abroad. Join the conversation as James guides you through his experiences and provides insights into how to improve your English and how to improve your teaching of English. And now, here's the man you've been waiting for, James Rice.
Coming up on this week's episode, what are students saying about the online learning experience? We have all their thoughts. Plus, we have a new sponsor. Find out who, all coming up on The James Rice Show. Welcome, students and fellow educators, to this week's episode of The James Rice Show. I am James, broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. Welcome, everyone, to this very special edition. Why is it special? Well, because, on Mondays, we have our new episodes, as you know. Tuesdays, we have the IELTS tips. Wednesdays, English is crazy. Thursday, we have teacher talk. Saturdays, we have the English free lessons for students, but there's nothing to do on Friday. Well, I have a special announcement for you. We are going to add a Friday podcast, and this podcast will be brought to you by one of our new sponsors of the James Rice Show, Apply Wave. And here to tell us a little bit about the Friday podcast and what Apply Wave has got planned for you is Apply Wave's Lisa During. And welcome, Lisa, to the James Rice Show. How are you?
Hi, James. Thank you. I'm good.
And
Hello,
you are in Mexico, right?
Exactly. I am based in Cancun and I work for Apply Wave as an account manager. And I'm trying to pick the best universities and high schools all around the globe for you to apply to if you want to go study abroad.
Yeah. And now, Lisa, you have so many fantastic ideas and a lot of experience helping students studying abroad. What are some of the topics that you're going to be discussing on the Friday podcasts?
So I was thinking about adding content which is going to be diverse and different topics. First, I think what everyone wants to listen to and what students might be interested in would be different tips and tricks that you might need to know about when you want to go study abroad. Since we are at Apply Wave are the experts in studying abroad and student recruitment, we want to give tips and like maybe something that you wouldn't need to know about. For example, how can I approach my parents about wanting to leave the country or about leaving town, about going to university abroad? How can I find the right budget for me? What is the best housing option? Where could I stay on campus? How much money do I need to calculate? Like all of those topics, these are probably the questions running through your mind. So if you would need any advice on that, just know that Apply Wave is the expert and we are here to help you.
Now, Apply Wave has how many schools on their website?
At the moment, we have around 250 active profiles on Apply Wave that you can search for.
Wow. And they're universities, colleges, high schools, language schools. Is it all across the board?
Exactly. We have high school programs, we have bachelor's, associate's degrees, master's, languages, and also certificate programs.
And it's applywave.com.
Exactly, if you want to look for it.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're gonna tell everybody about that here on the James Rice Show. So they can search the website and they can find the profile of the different schools. And the schools are around the world, all over the different countries, correct?
Exactly. I'm the account manager for European schools at the moment, but I have also nice colleagues that are taking care of the US and about Canadian schools. And we have partners all around the globe, and we are still expanding the network of partnerships every day. So
now, what is the coolest place? Now, what is the coolest place to study abroad that you have ever seen so far on the Apply Wave site? Do you have an opinion? Do you have a favorite spot? Maybe not a school, but a favorite city or a favorite spot where if you were young, you'd be saying, I want to go there. Well, you are young.
I would love to say Cancun because I'm based here now, yes. But I guess we have just acquired a new partner, which is even cooler because it's in Mauritius. So I think this is a beachy location where everyone would like to go for their studies, and the university looks really, really cool, and they have leadership programs that will make you come out as a boss-ass babe when you finish your studies there.
A boss baby. What's that? Yeah. Now, where is Mauritius?
Mauritius is in Africa. So
okay, like near South Africa.
How? What did
near
you say?
South Africa?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And they also have a campus in Central Africa in Rwanda, but I think
Wow.
the Mauritius campus is more attractive to like students that want to go see the beach.
Now tell us a little bit about Apply Wave. If I go on to the site, what do I see and what do I find and how does it work?
Yeah, so if you Google applywave.com, first it's going to take you to the front page where you can filter by the degrees or by the high school or language and certificate programs. You can also enter a specific program that you want to do. For example, it can be business or it can be management, it can be journalism, whatever you're interested in. You can add the program that you want to look for, and you can also enter the location. For example, it can be broad like Germany, United States, it can be any country. It can also be a specific city like Madrid or I don't know, whatever, where you want
Right.
to go, London, Paris, or it can be a specific university or school. And then you can hit search. It's going to show you all of the results that come up as broad or as narrow as you put it down. And then there are some filters that you can look by, for example, the budget or the housing options, the sports teams, even the religious faith or the climate. Like you can filter by anything that you can make your mind up to.
And I think you're going to talk a little bit about Apply Wave on Friday. So I don't want to go too deeply into it because I just want to tell everybody about it. But one of the neat features that I liked about Apply Wave is that you really have actual costs, like what the scholarship you can receive and things like that from the different schools. Is that correct?
Exactly. We have the normal tuition cost, and as soon as you create an account for ApplyWave, you can also see all of the scholarship options that the school has at the moment. And it's always going to show you the best achievable price, and it also gives you all of the requirements and admission necessities that you need to meet in order to actually get the scholarship. And throughout the application process, our student counselor Lena, she's going to help you like submit all of your documents and get in touch with the school to actually acquire the scholarship and the visa. Like we're going to guide you through all of the process and help along the way.
Yeah, I can't stress how important it is to understand that there are so many scholarships out there for students. And oftentimes students do not apply because they think it's too expensive to study at a certain school, when in fact they have many amazing scholarships. A lot of universities have so many great scholarships that make it very affordable.
Yes, this is actually true. So we always try to put the best possible outcome with all scholarships taken into account on ApplyWave, so the students can see that it's actually quite achievable and it's actually quite possible to go study abroad if you really look for it and if you have the right partners to help you go and to help you find the best fit for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Now you are from Germany originally, and you are now living in Mexico, which is totally unfair as a Canadian, I must say. So I want to visit the office down in Cancun as soon as possible. But how have you find living abroad, working in an international company, and why did you decide to work and live in Mexico? I mean, other than the weather.
As I said, you're always welcome and invited to come to the office. The sun is shining here every day. So it was kind of like it just happened. I didn't plan to actually stay here. I finished my studies and I finished my last exam and I was like, okay, it's time for an adventure. Lisa needs to go abroad, just like probably everyone thinks as soon as they finish like a stressful episode in their lives. So I was like, okay, I still want to do something like to put on my resume. I don't want to have like a gap and just like a holiday season. So I decided to do a Spanish class. And since I get homesick really easily, I was like, okay, it cannot be Spain. This is too close. I will always go home in the weekends. So I decided to just go to Cancun as far away as possible from my home. And I looked up and I found a nice Spanish school online. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for this. So I took the Spanish class here and I planned to stay for 4 months. And then just so it happened to be that I met Mackenzie and David, and they asked me like, Lisa, we really, really would appreciate you working for us at ApplyWave. We think that you would be an amazing fit and we want you on the team. And I just said, okay, let's do it. And we raised our hands together and we stayed. And
by studying abroad, just at a language school, Spanish language school, just by doing that 4 4-month course, you were able to network. It was only 1 month before you started to meet people.
The rest was the holiday, but I didn't want to admit it.
We won't tell your parents that. But it was basically networking, and you were able to meet people and find a job by living abroad and studying abroad. What is the biggest challenge for you, or what has been the biggest challenge for you living abroad as a non-native person?
Yeah, so I think there are certain issues that I always face, but I think it's like you shouldn't be too hard on this because actually living here has been great, and I have had so many nice experiences, and I met a lot of nice people. But some of the challenges, for example, is the time zone difference that I have with Germany. So whenever I talk to my friends, I have to call them early in the morning when I wake up before work, because I know when I get out of work, they're going to be sleeping. So I will not be able to text them. I will not be able to call anyone. This is like something that really bothers me when I'm lonely at night. Sometimes there's no one available. Another thing is that I am a blonde girl, so obviously all the men here are like, "Oh, hey, señorita," and they don't assume that you're speaking Spanish, and they don't think that you're gonna be able to actually negotiate the taxi prices or something. Like they all like think, oh, okay, this is a tourist, and you need actually quite some time, and you need to practice your Spanish, so they will actually respect you as a member of their society.
Good point. Knowing some of the language will help protect you from getting into any trouble. That's great. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to working with you on Fridays, and I'm looking forward to the amazing content that ApplyWave is going to bring to the Friday podcast. And I thank you and ApplyWave and your team for working with the James Rice Show. And I'm very excited. Thank you, Lisa.
Me too. I'm super excited.
Have you downloaded the Study It ESL textbooks yet for your classroom? The Study It textbooks are the first ever digital and interactive textbooks. Once downloaded, Wi-Fi is no longer required. Each book contains video and audio exercises, detailed grammar keynotes, reading and writing assignments, and amazing speaking projects. Grammar, conversation, pronunciation, business English, and listening textbooks are available. Visit www.studyitbooks.com for more information.
All right, so I've been following a thread on Twitter by Cassie Christop, who was asking students what they thought teachers should be doing better when teaching online. So here are some great comments from students that I wanted to share with you. And students, if you have other ideas, please, of course, let us know. And teachers as well, shoot us a message here at the James Rice Show. So first off, both of my professors have been great this semester, but pause for way longer than normal when asking for questions before moving on. Everyone has to unmute, and it takes longer. Yeah, that's a great one. So make sure you give the students time to unmute and answer your questions. Number 2, have students type questions into the chat. Yeah, that's what I asked them to do. My chat box is so full. If I'm using Zoom, my chat is so full of questions. So anytime there's a pause for questions, check the chat and then read out the questions before answering them. I think that's obvious, but I don't know that some teachers are doing that. All right, so please read those questions before answering those. Also, here's another one from a student. If you are recording lectures, please do them in 5 to 15 minute chunks. Chunk recording, very, very important when you're making videos. Making a 90-minute video and asking them to watch it is a bit tough. So if you chunk it out with some interaction in between, it is much, much better as well. I know so many friends who accidentally fall asleep because their cameras were off. So please turn the cameras on. Make sure that they are on. However, allowing non-video participation lectures is better for privacy issues. Some people don't want to show where they're living and their backgrounds, and they don't want to use virtual background because it takes up too much internet bandwidth. Yeah, okay. Well, so you've kind of got both sides there. Some want the cameras on, some want them off. that's probably going to be a preference for you as a teacher, how strict you're going to be with that. Also, transcripts or closed captioning, please. There are several programs that do this automatically, and YouTube as well. There is no excuse. All right, so they want transcripts. Yeah, they want transcripts. Provide PowerPoints with recorded lectures. I found it more difficult to focus with everything being online, plus the added bonus of internet connections that can disrupt the learning experience. Okay, so add some PowerPoints with your lectures. Again, that's chunking. So chunk it out, add some PowerPoints, a little video, add some PowerPoints, and you can probably do that all in one video, perhaps even, and give it a bit more of a lecture feel. All right, here's some negative viewpoints. Seems like online professors all want to do papers 2 or 3 times a week, times 4 or 5 classes. It is crazy to write that much. And they do online quizzes and tests, and they want more FaceTime with you, the professor, and less papers. More FaceTime and less papers. That's what they're hearing from students. Don't just give them writing assignments. Okay, all right, so that's an interesting comment. All right, here's one from Sadie. Spice it up. Spice it up, professors. Have students record videos instead of discussion boards. Yeah, I'm big on having students record videos. I love that. It also gives everyone a chance to practice public speaking. All right, yeah, good comment there. Shorter classes. I can't actively pay attention to a Zoom lecture for an hour and 30 minutes. If that means I need to read, listen, and do all of this extra material on my own time, I can do it. That's fine. Okay, so want shorter lessons. And that may be true. I mean, we may be in a situation where we're getting into shorter lecture periods, more work, more one-on-one with professors, one-on-one time frames where you can give virtual hours so that students can meet you, virtual office hours. That would be a good idea. Sometime at the end of class for Zoom, or end of class or Zoom, for questions. So they want questions at the end. Usually in person would be great. All right. So again, they want more interactivity with you, the professors. The lesson here, as she's reading through the thread, is one size fits all doesn't work. Provide lectures in multiple formats: PowerPoint slides, recorded lectures, transcript. Don't assume there's one best way. Each student will have unique circumstances. So a little more variety in the way you're presenting your lectures is what they're hoping for. Alex has written here on Twitter, I hope that schools will train faculty, especially older professors, on how to use technology, unlike the scrambling of this semester. And I hope we're helping a little bit here on the James Rice Show to the point where, yeah, you know what? We need a little more training for our teachers. They were thrown in to online teaching, and now we have an opportunity to train the teachers, to really work with them and help them prepare better lessons for the next semester. Next one. Post recordings of the lecture. The ease of accessing the internet is not the same for every student. Right. So we cannot always just go online and access it. You may have internet problems. You may have family problems, especially if you're learning at home. So just post them up. If it is absolutely necessary to assess via exam-style tests, make them accessible. No PDF editing, drawing of diagrams in a word processor. Okay, so yeah. And ask your students to give anonymous constructive feedback. Yeah, it would be wise for you guys, teachers, faculty listening out there, to have some sort of feedback form at the end of your lectures every week, perhaps every couple of weeks, to get a sense of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what is more needed in your class. Because as the previous tweet stated, one size does not fit all, and you may need to tweak your lesson a little bit to match the style of the students that you have in this particular class. All right, my professors haven't taught a single class since before spring break. Wow, they expected us to teach ourselves one professor even added material to make up for the lost class time. So, yeah, I hear that oftentimes. Here's another one. I haven't heard from one professor in 5 weeks. No emails, announcements at all. So your students are not happy by just posting assignments and tell them to go do it. And I hear that from time to time. Not happy with that at all. So try using the chat box in Zoom to type a question for the instructor. Yeah, that's the chat box there for. I mean, it's a great feature on Zoom. If you're using it, use the chat box. Attempt to engage or interact every 5 to 10 minutes maximum. Conduct a poll. Ask for a response in chat. Anything. Stop trying to lecture straight for the entire time. And as fun as the Zoom virtual backgrounds are, they are terrible by the third session. So they're saying, okay, it's a nice little introduction. And when I teach, I do a fun introduction at the beginning when students first see me to say, hey, we're going to have some fun in this class. We're going to enjoy. Okay, I'm accessible kind of teacher, but I don't do it all the time. And maybe the virtual Zoom backgrounds are too much. But the engagement factor is a great point here, where we do need to interact and engage with the students a lot more than we're doing. And in shorter chunks, 5-10 minutes, a little engagement, 10 minutes, a little engagement. I try to incorporate that. I'm probably doing not 5-10 minutes. I am more likely doing about every 20 minutes. I've got it broken down to 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the assignment that we're doing. Things that helped me this semester. Flip the classroom. Record lectures ahead of time so we can watch on our own time. Yes, that's from Joey. Awesome, Joey. I love that. Flip your classrooms. Flip, teachers. Don't assign group work. Too hard to coordinate and cooperate remotely. I disagree with that, Joey. I do disagree with that. I love group work, and I love asking students to do their work remotely. In fact, I have students on 3 or 4 different continents doing work together. This is the future for this generation. You're going to be working with people around the world, and you better be ready to learn how to do group work from different cities, from different countries. And my students have been able to do it and do it really, really well and very impressive. They have figured out ways to communicate with each other. So I disagree with that one. Be responsive to email. Yeah, answer your email, teachers. Come on. That's an important one. That's a really, really important one. Provide genuine feedback, not just a grade. And don't forget to check in with all of us to see where our mental health stands. So a lot of comments there from a variety of students who are looking for more interaction. I think number one point that I'm seeing from those tweets is they want more interaction with you, the professor, with you, the teacher. And that can mean in the classroom, but also outside the classroom through email, through chat. And they feel that perhaps now that you're online and you're not traveling back and forth to a university or a school or a high school or college, and you're not, giving a lecture for 2 hours where you're busy, you can be more accessible. So students want that accessibility to you. Now, you might be saying, James, I don't want 400 emails and 400 text messages and chat messages. Well, set up those virtual office hours. Use the breakout rooms in Zoom. Go into those rooms, interact with the kids, interact with the students, and try to be more accessible. I think that's one of the main features. But a lot of great ideas on teaching techniques, flipping the class, chunking out your work. I can't stress how important chunking your workout is to students. It's a long time to sit and watch a lecture. So if you can chunk that out and make it more interactive, that I think would lead to better results. So good luck, teachers. Thank you, students, for all of those fantastic responses as well.
Have you subscribed to James's newsletter? When you subscribe, you will receive a free Study It ESL textbook. Visit www.thejamesriceshow.com for more information and join today. Okay, students, it's time for your English tip of the week.
Why do we call spring spring and not winter or fall or summer? Well, it started in the 14th century, and at this time of the year, it was called springing time because obviously the weather produced flowers and grass and trees and all of those wonderful things. So it started as springing time. In the 15th century, it was shortened to just springtime. And then in the 16th century, we just got rid of time altogether and we just called it spring. And now you know why English is so crazy. Welcome back to the James Rice Show, and that was a little taste of English is Crazy. So English is Crazy is something that we release on Wednesdays, which talks a little bit about the origin and history of certain English words. And it's always very, very interesting and fascinating how these words came about and how these expressions started. So tune in on Wednesdays for that segment. And of course, as we talked about at the top of the show, Fridays, Apply Wave, and some interesting topics that they are going to produce for us. Now, today is a holiday in Canada. Yeah, it's usually a national holiday, well, it is a national holiday, and I usually do not produce a new episode when there is a national holiday. However, I did it for you because, well, I don't have a lot to do because we're all in quarantine here. And so I am going to have a chance to talk to our lovely producer, Stephanie, who's helping us out here. Hello, Stephanie, and thank you for all of your support there. And last week, one of the great rock and roll idols of all time passed away, Little Richard. And I never got to talk about him because we produce these shows on the Sunday and they're released early Monday. So he died and I never got to talk about Little Richard. Now, Little Richard he's a fascinating character, and you can Google about him and learn about him. Now, for the young people out there, you might be saying, Little Richard, don't know Little Richard, I'm tuning out. Just let me tell you who Little Richard influenced, because he called himself the architect of rock and roll. Yeah. And he influenced the Beatles. The Beatles absolutely loved Little Richard songs, and a lot of the Beatle tracks, especially the earlier tracks, are paying tribute to Little Richard, as well as the Rolling Stones, Elvis, the Kinks, Chuck Berry, the Everly Brothers, CCR, Elvis Costello, all of these, Prince, Prince was one example of somebody who was really influenced by Little Richard. So he passed away, and a lot of what you're hearing in music, in rock and roll music, you can trace back to the roots of rock and roll and Little Richard. Now, what he did for language is also quite interesting, because when he was young, let me tell you first. He created a song called Tutti Frutti, and you can listen to the song. And Tutti Frutti starts with a very famous little phrase, and it goes, bop, babaloo, bop, bop, bam, boom. Okay, that's it. Bop, bop, baloo, bop, bop, bam, boom. Now, not only is it good pronunciation practice for your B's, okay, it was actually created by Little Richard while he was working as a dishwasher. Yeah, he was working as a dishwasher, and his boss would come in and yell at him about something, and instead of yelling back at the boss and getting angry, he would accept it, take it, and then he would be washing dishes and going bop, bop, baloo, bop, bop, bam, boom. So that's how he'd get his anger out. And he used that as part of a song, and that song, of course, has been very, very famous and used by many, many people. So Little Richard, what a character. Read about him, watch him on YouTube, learn his story, because his story is fascinating. It's a fascinating story, and one that I wanted to share with you because he passed away, and it was a sad story. We've lost a lot of great people these last few months, musicians and actors. It's been a bit tragic. So Moving on, Stephanie showing me now our top 10 listeners for last week. So thank you guys, as always, for supporting the James Rice Show. And number 1, Brazil back on top. Woo! Brazil. Yeah, finally. You guys not on the... I know you guys are busy with the coronavirus and a lot of problems down there, but back listening to the James Rice Show. Thank you guys. And my heart is always with you. I'm watching the news about what's going on in Brazil, and I pray for you. I pray for you in Brazil. Number 2, the USA, United States. Number 3, Canada. Number 4, Japan. Number 5, Korea. Yeah, and we actually cracked, I should say, the top 100 in Korea. Our ratings came out, and we got into the top 100 in Korea. So that's a first for us. So thank you, my Korean friends. Saudi Arabia next, then Mexico, Ireland, Thailand, and finishing off with Israel. Yeah, so thank you to all the listeners, to all of your support to the James Rice Show. Keep tuning in. Tuesday, IELTS tips. Wednesday, English is Crazy. Thursday, Teacher Talk. Friday, Apply Waves new segment talking about student life, study tips, study abroad tips, I should say. And Saturday, we have the free English lesson. Whew, and Sunday, I get a day off. Actually, no, I produce the Monday show on Sunday. So busy every single day to bring you great, amazing content. That's what we promised at the beginning of the year, and that's what we're trying to give to you, students, teachers, educators, administrators out there. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great week. And remember, be crazy.
Thanks for listening to The James Rice Show. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter and send us your questions or comments at www.thejamesriceshow.com.